Gemma Bovery is filled with quiet moments that say everything. From stolen glances to devastating choices, here are the 10 best scenes that define this romantic tragedy. Scene number 1, Gemma's arrival in Normandy. Gemma arrives in the quiet countryside of Normandy like a breath of fresh air, elegant, confident, and completely out of place. The slow rhythm of village life contrasts sharply with her restless energy, immediately drawing attention to her presence. To Martin, the local baker, Gemma seems less like an ordinary woman and more like a character stepping out of a novel. Her charm, beauty, and subtle dissatisfaction hint that this peaceful setting may not be enough to contain her desires. From the moment she arrives, fate feels set in motion and the calm of Normandy begins to quietly fracture. Scene number 2, Martin realizing the Bovary parallel. As Martin observes Gemma settling into village life, an unsettling realization begins to take hold. Her name, her boredom, her romantic longing, each detail echoes the tragic heroine of Madame Bovary. What starts as an amusing coincidence quickly turns into an obsession. Martin, a man grounded in books and routine, convinces himself that he is witnessing a story destined to repeat itself. His knowledge of literature gives him a false sense of control, blinding him to the difference between fiction and reality. In trying to interpret Gemma's life as a narrative already written, Martin unknowingly steps into the role of narrator, judge, and ultimately, participant in a tragedy he believes he understands. Scene number 3, Gemma's picnic fantasy moment. During the picnic, Gemma drifts into a world of her own making. Surrounded by soft light, music, and idle conversation, she imagines a life shaped by romance rather than routine. In her mind, love is effortless, passion is poetic, and every gesture carries meaning. The moment feels suspended in time, a fantasy drawn from novels rather than reality. Yet beneath its beauty lies a quiet sadness. This daydream reveals Gemma's deepest longing. Not for a specific man, but for a life that feels cinematic and endlessly fulfilling. The picnic becomes more than a pleasant afternoon, it is a glimpse into the illusion that will guide her choices and, ultimately, her fate. Scene number 4, the first affair spark, Gemma and Hervé. Gemma's encounter with Hervé carries an immediate, unspoken electricity. Unlike the predictable safety of her marriage, Hervé represents possibility, charming, attentive, and effortlessly indulgent of Gemma's romantic ideals. Their conversations are light but loaded, filled with glances that linger just a second too long. For Gemma, this moment isn't about betrayal yet, it's about being seen. Hervé awakens the fantasy she has been nurturing, offering her the excitement and validation she feels life has denied her. What begins as flirtation quietly crosses a line, marking the first step toward a love affair driven less by passion than by Gemma's hunger for escape. Scene number 5, Martin's warning conversation. Martin, fully aware of the uncanny parallels between Gemma's life and Madame Bovary, confronts her with quiet urgency. His words are measured, almost pleading, as he tries to warn Gemma of the dangers of chasing fleeting passion. He speaks from both knowledge and fear, a fear not just for her, but for the inevitable tragedy he believes is written in her fate. Gemma listens politely, perhaps intrigued, perhaps dismissive, but her restlessness remains unshaken. This conversation crystallizes the tension between observation and action, knowledge and desire. Martin's attempt to intervene highlights his role as both narrator and would-be guardian, yet it also underscores the futility of trying to control a story already in motion. Scene number 6, Gemma and Hervé's break, the figurine. The breaking of the figurine is more than a simple accident, it's a powerful symbol of Gemma and Hervé's fractured affair. In a moment of tension, the delicate object shatters, mirroring the fragility of their relationship and the consequences of their impulsive desires. Gemma's restless longing collides with Hervé's own limitations, revealing that passion, no matter how intoxicating, is fragile and fleeting. This scene foreshadows the unraveling of fantasies, reminding viewers that actions have weight and that beauty, like porcelain, can easily be destroyed. The broken figurine becomes a metaphor for love, temptation, and the inevitable collision of desire and reality. Scene number 7, Gemma and Hervé de Bressigny sleeping together. In a moment charged with desire and secrecy, Gemma and Hervé cross a line that transforms their flirtation into a tangible, passionate affair. The scene is intimate, yet layered with tension, the excitement of forbidden love tinged with guilt and consequence. Gemma, restless and seeking fulfillment, finds in Hervé the excitement and attention that her marriage cannot provide. Hervé, in turn, embodies both temptation and the thrill of being desired. This encounter is not merely physical, it reflects Gemma's ongoing pursuit of escape and fantasy, highlighting the collision between longing, morality, and the inexorable pull of fate. The scene heightens the stakes of the narrative, setting the stage for the emotional unraveling that follows. Scene number 8, Gemma's pregnancy reveal. The revelation of Gemma's pregnancy brings both joy and tension into the story. In a quiet, intimate moment, the fragile excitement of new life collides with the underlying complexities of desire, infidelity, and fate. For Gemma, the news is a mixture of hope and uncertainty, a symbol of continuity and a reminder of the choices she has made. For Martin, it is a moment charged with conflicting emotions. Pride, fear, and the haunting sense that he is entangled in a narrative beyond his control. This scene deepens the emotional stakes, highlighting the consequences of longing, the weight of destiny, and the bittersweet beauty that threads through Gemma's life. Scene number 9, the poisoned food. In a seemingly mundane moment, the spoiled food on Gemma's plate becomes a haunting metaphor for the decay hidden beneath the surface of desire and domestic life. What looks harmless at first carries the quiet threat of consequence, mirroring the emotional and moral corruption quietly brewing around Gemma and Martin. The scene subtly underscores the dangers of indulgence, temptation, and obsession, a reminder that even small choices can have irreversible effects. In connecting food and poison, the film blurs the line between pleasure and peril, reflecting the story's recurring theme, that love, passion, and curiosity can be as intoxicating as they are destructive. Scene number 10, Gemma's death and Martin's aftermath. The story reaches its heartbreaking conclusion as Gemma's life ends abruptly, leaving a stunned and devastated Martin in the quiet of Normandy. Her death is sudden, tragic, and eerily inevitable, a cruel culmination of desire, obsession, and the fate Martin feared yet could not prevent. In the aftermath, Martin is left to grapple with guilt, regret, and the haunting sense that he has been both witness and unwitting participant in a tragedy foretold. The village, once serene, now feels empty and suffocating, reflecting the void left by Gemma's absence. This final scene encapsulates the film's central themes, the fragility of human longing, the illusions of control, and the devastating consequences when life imitates the stories we cling to. Before we end the story of Gemma Bovery, let's meet the main characters who bring this tragic, romantic tale to life. First, Gemma Arterton as Gemma Bovery, charming, restless, and searching for passion in the quiet Normandy countryside. Then there's Fabrice Lucchini as Martin Joubert, the observant baker who watches Gemma's life unfold like a story he thinks he knows, caught between curiosity and obsession. Jason Fleming as Hervé de Bressigny brings temptation and excitement, stirring desire and tension, while Mel Rado as Charlie Bovary, Gemma's husband, represents stability and the life she finds increasingly confining. And that wraps up our journey through Gemma Bovery, a story of desire, longing, and the tragic consequences of chasing fantasy over reality. From stolen glances to heartbreak and fate, these scenes remind us that life, like literature, can be as beautiful as it is devastating. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more movie recaps and cinematic deep dives. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the story is just as haunting as the ending.